Hello, welcome to the Cars and Cancer podcast. We're at episode 16 now. I hope that wasn't somebody unzipping their trousers because it sounded like someone zipping.
That was Darren, I think it wasn't me.
Yeah, the podcast is slightly different this week, where Darren will be doing it in his pants. No, this is the this is the Cars and Cancer.
Definitely wasn't me yet, mate. It wasn't me yet. I just moved something on my desk and it knocked the phone, so I just straightened the phone up. Honestly, yeah.
That's a lovely image for us all. If you're tuning in for the first time, we are three gentlemen who were brought together because of having cancer, and we met at a Macmillan counselling group, and we've been good mates ever since. Very, very good mates, in all honesty, and we use this podcast to sort of share our experiences, talk about the dreaded C word, and then also talk about something else that begins with C, which is far more interesting, which is cars. We just have a bit of a waffle every week. Still very, very in the early stages. We're not getting massive views and stuff, but we'd love people to get involved, put a comment in, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, that kind of thing. Just, we do, because we enjoy it. It's good. It's good for our own mental health, but hopefully it brings some help and support to people out there as well. I think that's fair enough, isn't it, chaps? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, well said, mate. Very good.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. And that concludes tonight's podcast. Thank you for tuning in. So if you tuned in last week, we had a very, very special week for two reasons. Both for yourselves. We had Andy, you were going to get your scan results.
Yes, I was.
And Darren, you were having your big TV moment.
Yeah.
Which turned out to be a very pleasant evening. But I thought probably most people are probably, no disrespect, Darren, probably wanting to hear how you got on, Andy. If you wanted to tell us how Wednesday went.
Yeah, so I went to my normal appointment. I saw a doctor that I've not seen before. She kind of gave me the right idea, but left us guessing on what she said.
Oh.
So my wife rung Catherine, who's the nurse who's been with me from day one, and she said, no, everything's all stable. It's not gone down, it's just stable. So
Right.
she said that's really good for the format we've done. So, she just said everything was okay and they're happy with it. So,
right, good.
Which is a lot more than what the other one said. The other one wasn't very good. She was younger than Callie, the nurse was. So, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult because the junior nurses were on strike. They were doing a lot more than what they should do because of the help they weren't getting. Yeah. So, it was just a bit like I was 2 hours over my appointment.
Right.
So, and I was booked in, and then they go. Yeah, they normally go for their meeting at 12, and then it was 12:30, and then we had to go up again, and they sent this doctor from somewhere to come and see me. So, bit of a strange one.
Yeah.
But we spoke to Catherine, said, it's all fine. It's all going well. We're pleased with what you've done in your 4 sessions, even though I work on a 4-week cycle and then I do another one, but I'm working on a 5-week cycle and then doing one.
Yeah.
So I obviously asked if I could reduce my chemo. And she said, but then your platelets might be low again and then we're all the wrong way round. So she said, we'll keep them as they are at the moment. So I've been in today for some new bloods. So they're going to ring me on Wednesday at 10:30-ish. So probably about 1:00 when they ring me and see what they say.
Right.
So if I've got that right then, Andy, this is if this will be your bloods then to see if your white blood cell count is high enough for you to then start the chemo. Is that right?
Yeah. When I went in last weekend, they're about 75.
Yeah.
Need to be about 150.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but this week it should be fine because I work. I'm a week behind, so it takes me extra week to get going on my platelets. So this week should be fine.
Yeah.
And
so I'm working on the 5 week.
Yeah. So you're on
What
a
did you
5
say?
week cycle. You're on a 5 week cycle then, really, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I said to Catherine, does it matter if you're on a 5 week one? She said, well, it does happen quite a lot. And sometimes we reduce them and your platelets are still low. So she said, we're better off staying on what we are now, so it'll still work out. So yeah, this week will be fine. Yeah, I should be high enough to take it this week.
Gotcha. And that's your body. That's your body naturally rebuilding its immune system, generating white blood cells, so your blood count goes up, and then you've got some form of immunity, if you like, for the next round of chemo, I suppose. So that'll be good. Yes.
Yeah.
So on Wednesday, I start my 5th one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult, but I crack on with it. Get through the other end, and then I have. Normally I have 3 weeks, but I have 4 weeks. 2 weeks of being good rather than 4 weeks. So I'm better for an extra week. It's given me an extra week, which is good, really. It's good for me anyway.
So are they going to do that next time, Andy? They're going to just say, well, we won't test you and then tell you it's too low and test you again the following week. Are they going to go just straight to the following week now and extend when you have it?
Well, no, I'd still got to go every 4 weeks for the blood test, which I can't quite understand why, because ever since they upped the dosage, I'm 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering, mate. Yeah, because it seems like, it's more times than not that you're having to leave it till the following week anyway. And when you go back, it always seems to shot right up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems a bit odd.
I can't understand why you want me to go every 4 weeks.
No.
Yeah, I can't understand it. But the doctor I saw said, going off research, this is what we have to do. If you don't come in on the 4th week, you come in on the 5th, and you might be all right in the 4th, but I don't know. I couldn't quite understand what she said.
Oh well, mate.
She showed me the scan pictures on the screen, and she said, "Yep, it's settled down. Nothing's happened." But she couldn't quite point to where it was. She couldn't quite point with it where the cancer was. So I took a picture of it, and then we run Catherine. Said, "No, it all looks stable. Doesn't look any different than it did when we put you on it." And she said, "That's good for your 4th chemo. It's not grown any. It's stayed the same." So I'm happy with what Catherine said.
Oh, good, mate.
I thought maybe it might have gone down a little with the 4th one, but I don't know. Maybe when I get to like 8, it might have gone down a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll keep you updated as I'm going.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
Good lad, mate. Well done. Keep looking at it, and obviously it's having some effect, isn't it? So keep sticking with it.
Yeah, it's not getting bigger.
Yeah. No, that's right. You got to, like we was all told before, you got to take positive. Any positive is worth grabbing hold of, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Any positive, yeah.
Definitely, mate.
If it had got bigger, I don't know how I would have coped with that.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm happy with it being stable. And Catherine's like, I've known Catherine since I've been going there, and it's strange. Whatever she says, it's just so much better than what the doctor says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why she's a doctor. I can't understand it, but whatever she says, it's better than what the doctor. It's a strange thing to say.
Yeah.
But whatever she says, it just feels so much better. She talks to you in the language that you can understand. Yeah. Some doctors are a bit they don't talk to you back in what you're asking them.
No. But you've built a rapport with her over time, haven't you? She's got to know you. She knows how you are, and she knows, you know, how to speak to you. And I'm sure it was the same with you, Darren, and with my consultant as well. It was just a case of, look,
definitely,
just cut the crap. Tell me the truth. You know, what do I need to do? And you need to do this, that, and the other. Okay, fine. I trust you implicitly. I'm going to do as I'm told, and I get on with it. And that sounds exactly what you're doing, Andy. You're just like, right, what do I need to do? You need to keep doing this. It's on 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever, and get your plate list up right. And you do that, and you know, you've got some sort of comfort there, haven't you? Really, because there's truth in what she's saying, because it is working. You know, it might not be getting rid of it massively, but it is certainly stemming the growth. And it's giving you a quality of lifestyle that you've got. So for a couple of weeks, you're like a badger's arse, but then for the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're in quite good form, really, aren't you? So, and I think you'd probably take that, wouldn't you? When some of the times that you've been through some real crap times, you'd probably take something like this at the moment.
Yeah, I would 100%. Looking back to what I went through when I was in hospital, just, you know, lying there and thinking about what the family's doing. Yeah. It's just like you go out and you're like, well, I'm alive today, so what can I do today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah.
You keep going, mate. Don't let the buggers get you down.
Yeah, I won't.
Oh, well, that's good news, Andy. Thanks for sharing that with us. It would have been an interesting podcast if it hadn't gone well. I don't know how we would have handled that one, but no, it's good that we can talk about it. So fair play. We actually met up last week, didn't we, gentlemen? We met up on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Was it Thursday?
Thursday.
It was Thursday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, there was some crap on telly, wasn't there, that we had to watch? What was it? Oh, God. What was it? Was it Emmerdale? Was it Emmerdale? No, it was after Emmerdale, wasn't it? Go on, Darren, tell us about it. What happened?
Car SOS, second episode, and my Rover SD1 was the star of the show.
It certainly was, and what a wreck it was.
Oh no, I just couldn't believe how bad it had gone underneath. It just goes to show me, you think, well, I'm like myself 5 years now in recovery, and I'm like, wow, that 5 years just still seems to have gone so quick. And the car was put back to bed again after a failed second start to restore it, due to the second wave of cancer in the family, being mine. And it was just put back up and out the garage here, and I managed to get it going, drove it up there, sat it in there, and then it just completely deteriorated rapidly all of a sudden while it was back up there. So not very good. Never getting there, never getting up there to it, and with what was going on. So it probably had 2 years, the door didn't even open, the garage door. So it's not as if it was opening, it was getting aired a little bit and anything done with it whatsoever. But what a fabulous job that they've done with it. You know, I've watched it a few times now because we've got it on record, and then the editors keep sending us, they're just going to send us their own DVD, what they did, and with pictures of themselves on it and what have you, and the team saying thank you, hello and thank you for letting us do your car, all that sort of stuff. So that should be a nice keepsake.
So how did this all come about then, Darren?
It all came about. It was because I always have I'm like really into the magazines, and I think when I was off work with the cancer, I had probably 3 or 4 magazines that two of them come out weekly, and the other 2 was like monthly magazines, and I was just like surrounded with car magazines. And I really got into the classic car one as I started getting a bit more active, and then things started getting better. I started to drop a couple of these magazines off, and I thought, well, no, I really like the classic car magazine. It's a paperback, it's nice and simple. It's got some good sort of things in it, that I like reading up and stuff, and all the shows are there. And I just stuck with it, and I was going through, and then I've always been in love with Car SOS anyway, and we're watching that all the time. And then they started to do like a weekly review and different things with for us to be on there doing different things with MOTs and to be with like repairs and what to do, what not to do, and how to do this. And they had all this going on with the car program, which was like great because it's like my favourite program anyway, car resto program. And it just come from that. I was sitting down there the one Sunday, reading through it, and they come to a little tiny advert, only a small ad, Car SOS, and they're looking for people to be nominated. And it was just conversation. I'm sitting there drinking my cup of tea, and I just said to my wife, I said, bloody hell, I said that Car SOS that I like, what I watch all the time. I said they're asking for nominations on here. I said, can you imagine just how many thousands must apply for that? Like, you know, and then that was it. Didn't say anymore. Sure, God, I bet there's bloody thousands. Yeah, absolutely loads. And that was it. Carried on reading the magazine, went about the business and that, and then just went back to work on the Monday, and the week, it just went back to normal, really. Didn't think any more about it. Anyway, we just carried on going and going like this, and then the next thing I know, we was invited up to our friends just for going for drinks and a chat, really. And I said, oh, what's it about? And I said to my wife, and she said, well, I don't know, but she said they've been together for quite a while now, and she said maybe they're thinking of getting married, and they just want us up there. So they're going to ask you to, you know, maybe Julie's going to ask you to be best man for her or something like this, like, you know, or they don't want anyone to know yet. I said, oh yeah, it could be, couldn't it? So anyway, we goes up there mid of the afternoon, and then it wasn't that at all, was it? I was sitting there, and my mate says, he said, oh, Dad, I want to show you this. I thought I'm going to have a little chat with you about something like both of you. But he said, I saw this the other week, and he puts one of the programmes on live for Jay Leno, and it come on there, and he started doing this little chat, what you saw on the programme. And, well, the rest of that bit was history, mate. And I was like in complete shock. I thought, hey, what's he on about? I'm thinking to myself, what have you done with my car? What have you done? Have you sold it? That's what we're doing at first. Have you sold my car to him? And then when I went outside, no, it wasn't that at all, wasn't it? You knew it. You was in there all keeping it secret from me.
Right. Okay, let's get one thing very clear. We weren't in there. Bear in mind, it was probably the coldest frigging day of the year.
Oh, was it?
Oh,
it was
so cold.
Bitterly cold. So early in the morning, I went and picked Andy up, and then we drove there. I was having a drama that day because my sat-nav kept sending me all over the place because it's saying there were roadworks that were non-existent. So I kept ringing Andy up every 5 minutes saying, Andy, it says I'm going to be 3 hours, I'm going to be 2 hours. I was like, oh no, God, we're not going to get there on time. And it was all nonsense. I got there in plenty of time, and we got there, didn't we, Andy? Andy got his emergency.
Oh, and then your water jet froze up.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. So I couldn't clean the windscreen. So anyway, so I was in a bit of a panic to get there on time. We get there on time, and we pull up at the house. This is well before you've arrived. And we get to see the car outside and how beautiful it's looking and that kind of thing. It was kind of weird, really, wasn't it, Andy? We turned up and the car was outside, but there was nobody there. We just turned up. It was like, this is a bit odd. But then we went to the house, and that's where we went in, where you watched the Jay Leno thing, and we met the director or producer or whatever.
Oh, Elliot.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, and the camera crew. And then we got turfed outside because you were turning up. So it's probably about 1 degree, and we're all absolutely freezing.
It was freezing, Aid. It was.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. So so while you go in there and have a nice cup of coffee and you're watching the telly, we're all hiding around the corner waiting for you to come out of the bloody house so we could clap our hands just to keep warm. Yeah, it was, and we were standing there, and he was like, "How long are we going to be here for?" And bloody, it was cold, and we were all like shivering, and the director saying,
it was bitter."
Yeah, and then we're told, when you go out, can you clap?
Did we find out?
Go on, Andy.
Say again.
Go on,
Did
Andy.
we find out a week before? Did we find out a week before we went up there, Aid?
Yeah, we did. That's right.
Did you ring me the week before?
I did. Yeah. So I was working from home, and then my wife shouted me down to the garden office and said, "There's a lady called Jackie for you." I was like, "Oh God, I don't know a Jackie." She said, "Oh, it's Darren's wife," and I went, "Oh shit!" I thought, "Oh no, what's happened?" I thought, "Oh God, something terrible's happened." I genuinely thought that, and I was like, Christ. Luckily, I wasn't on a call or anything. So I ran in the house, and then I walk in, and there's Jackie sitting in our lounge, and she's been nattering away to Amy. And she says to me, "Hey, can you keep a secret?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem, because I'll forget this conversation anyway." And she said, "Have you heard of Car SOS?" Yeah, I've heard of Car SOS. I'm thinking, oh, my Mondeo's getting sorted. We're cooking on gas here. I'm only joking. She says, I got in touch with them. And I asked them if they'd do Darren's car, and they said yes. And I think she said that she'd done some recording already, and she would have done, yeah. And they want to do the big reveal, and it's going to be on this day. And I think it was it December? Was it before or after Christmas?
No, it wasn't December, wasn't it? It was running up really close to Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Christmas trees in the lounge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So So then she said, "Oh yeah, Darren, they've taken his car and it's been done, and we're going to do the big reveal. Can you make it?" And I was like, "Of course, I bloody will." I obviously had to speak with my manager.
Great.
And explain it to her, and she was absolutely fine. And then I rang up Andy. I think you were in as much shock as I was, weren't you, Andy? It was like, "What? Hey, what is that Car SOS, really?"
Yeah.
And you weren't feeling great yourself, in all honesty, were you?
No, Kelly was in the room, and you rung me up and said Darren's wife's been on the phone. Looked at me like, the same sort of thing. Yeah. What you thought? Oh God, what's happened? And then when I said Car SOS, she was like gobsmacked. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So
that was a week before, it wasn't it? A week before.
Yes, we had a week to.
So we only knew for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we had to. The thing was, we had to do a podcast between that knowing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was so nervous that I was going to say something I shouldn't do. I was almost scripted for that episode. It was like, don't say this. Yeah. Don't say the Rover. Yeah. Don't. Oh God, don't mention the Rover. Whatever you do. And I don't know how.
And sometimes when you're trying to do that, you tend to sort of like fetch it in the forefront of your mind, and it's even more likely to come out, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're telling yourself, "Do not say that word," isn't it?
I tell you what, the relief when we got through that podcast, it's like having a poo after 3 days. Do you know what I mean? It was just, it was just amazing. It was just, thank God I survived.
Oh, brilliant.
One of the funny things is that while we were, I think before you arrived, Darren, my neighbour from over the road who listens to us, he's probably our second listener, he came over, and I was a big fan of the show, and he was chatting to us, and he got to speak to Fuzz and Tim, because by that point they'd come out to meet us, and then he was hiding behind some net curtains, and he filmed it and sent us some little video clips. So I might put some of those on Instagram if he's okay with that. It'd just be great.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Different angles of that, because I haven't been able to, obviously we haven't been able to share that with you, because that would be rather strange. But yeah, so. He managed to capture some video of it as well, but it was just a surreal day. I mean, I got a photo on the last podcast, Andy standing with Fuzz and Tim, who were probably the tallest people in the world. Yeah. I didn't realise just how tall they were.
No, I didn't, mate. No.
Yeah, extremely tall people. But I think I want to say this, and because I think sometimes celebrities get a bad name, and all it takes is somebody to sort of badmouth them and say some nasty things about them. But they were really nice people. They were really nice to chat to. Yeah. They made time for us. They listened. I remember sitting in the lounge, and Andy was there as well. We were both having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. And Tim was sitting opposite us, and he was talking about his love of cars and the program, and he was talking to us about our interests in cars. It was very surreal, wasn't it, Andy? It was just absolutely bizarre.
I showed him a picture of me Nova.
Yeah.
Which was,
Yeah, he left quite soon after that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see you showing any pictures of your Mondeo there, eh?
Yeah, all right, whatever.
I didn't see you jump on.
Whatever.
No, you're right there, mate. But I genuinely are when they come across, because you do. no doubt they do get a lot of flack off people, and people to say, "Oh, that's all staged, this, that, and the other." Them programs, you know, and it's all put on. But you've got to have a certain amount of staging, otherwise it's not going to work. And everyone's got to know where they're going with everything. But a lot of the stuff they do is just off the cuff. And I first, like, my proper meeting with them together was when we went down to Farnborough last year.
Yeah.
And there was one of the women that's around them with a clipboard, and she's doing it, and you can go in and speak to them when it was first starting. And when they first opened the doors there, and there was quite a big queue, and we and Jackie just stood there in the queue just to go and meet them, like. And then we said, "Oh, we're not going to be able to make this." And then she said, "Just you two," she said, and then she sort of stopped it then because they're going to start like a session on the live stage at 10:30. And we got there, and I said, "No," I said, "They don't want to let us get up to do this." And I said, "Look," and she said, "Right, 3 minutes, guys, do it." And she was sort of egging them on to hurry up. And of course, then he called us up and said, "Oh, you might not be able to do it." He said, "Yes, he will. Send him up here. Send him up here." And we went up talking, and they was actually still asking like me questions, or what sort of car have you got, and what, you know, what's your favourite cars, and where have you come from, and all these questions. And she was going, "Lads, we really need to get going in a minute." Let's go. Yeah. And they weren't really bothered.
No,
It just,
yeah.
I said, "Oh, I'm holding you up now." He said, "Oh, the stage ain't going to go nowhere, is it?" And I thought, well, there's two people, and that's what really, from the first meeting with them, it kind of bonded how much I like the program anyway. Because so many times you go to shows and they do that, and they say, "No, sorry, no, we're gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go. We're doing this. We're gonna have to go. They're starting filming," and they just sort of leave you dry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but there was none of that. You know, and I just said how nice it is to stop and chat with them when I was talking to them on the actual reveal. I said, because we met you down there, and they said, "Oh yes, remember now? Yeah, you was talking about yes, remember you standing there and you was telling us to hurry up, weren't you?" And I was like, normally you do get kind of rushed on for them things, and he said, "No," he said, "we just like talk it." I said, "It'll all work out on the day," and they wasn't bothered, you know. And I thought they're such a genuine pair of lads. It's unbelievable.
I think there's something about the production team as well. I think, I know.
They was amazing.
Yeah. And when they're doing the recording, I know that they've got deadlines and they've got a certain amount of time to do certain takes and all that kind of stuff. But they seem to be very much aware that it's a channel for the people, and when they're recording and they want you to be very much part of it and as well. And they'll say, "Oh yeah, can you come and stand around here, lads?" But between takes, you know, while we're waiting for you, while you were watching the Jay Leno thing, we're outside, and they were chatting to us and telling us about the production team. I think the chief mechanic was there, wasn't he, Andy? I think we spoke to him for a bit. He was telling us about how he sort of oversaw the main project of restoring your car and the challenges he had, and he used to work for Rover, and they just seemed to make time for you, which was really, really, really nice. And for a brief second, I felt starstruck when I met them. It was like, wow, Fuzz and Tim. But very quickly, you just ended up just chatting to them like a couple of mates.
Yeah.
And they just made the whole thing very comfortable. And
definitely, yeah. Well, Elliot still messages Jack now. You know, he messaged only like a week before the reveal, and he said, "Hi Jack, just checking in, just to make sure you and Darren are okay, and you've been having a bit of fun in the car, hopefully. How are you getting on with it? Is it all going okay? And are you, excited about the program coming on?" And that, so Jack messaged him back and just said yes, and I hope you're not too busy when you're being out and getting home and that sort of stuff. And I thought, well, like you were saying about the whole film crew and everybody there, how they was all kind of on the same wavelength with it, all in the same place. And it was like, this just goes to show it, because there's no reason for Elliot to still be contacting us. He could have moved on to the next 2 or 3 episodes by now. And he's dealing with all that. And then while he's working away and he's sitting there probably in his hotel room, because they have to go in B&Bs in hotels, don't they? And he only really goes home with a weekend. And I'm like, he's going through thinking, "Oh, just message so-and-so who did that, or just message these." And that just goes to show the type of people they are.
It was a real eye opener. It was a real interest to see how the recording is handled, and sometimes it feels sometimes it's a bit like a jigsaw. You record all these different segments and then they pull it all together for the recording.
Yeah.
There's probably loads that they record that they don't actually use. I remember Ethan said when we did a podcast with him, they probably record hours of stuff, but actually it only that you fit it into a 45-minute episode with adverts in between kind of thing.
That's right.
And it's incredible if you think about the amount of man hours that it took to get that car done, and then they cram all of that into a 1 hour program. It's just incredible considering.
It is really, when you think it's like in man hours, they said it was like just over 1,300 hours spent on the car.
Wow.
So to get snippets of the whole thing and bob it into that hour, and plus you've got some adverts popping through that program as well, and you think, that's incredible to get the right pieces, and must have so many right pieces to choose from, and then you're sort of whittling it down to the ones you really want.
Yeah.
And they're very hard to do. It must take so long, and I thought the program not just because it was my car, but the whole thing with the program come off really good. There was a lot of sort of jokes at the beginning of it, and it was a serious thing, but it was a light-hearted right the way through until we actually do the discussion of at the end. A little bit emotional when Jackie was sat on the back of the transport, we're talking to see him. That brought some memories back of of all the sort of problems we've had, and it was emotional. It was listening to what your partner says about you, because it's something you don't really hear, is it? Very often.
No.
And it did. It sort of got a lump in my throat really at one time. I started welling up a little bit at the beginning of the program.
Well, you weren't on your own, Darren. I mean, I was the same, especially when. Oh God, I'm welling up now. The bit where there's a bit where they show you where you've got your cancer scar on your neck. And then talking about obviously your son going through it, and I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
And selfishly, I thought about when I was ill, and then I was talking.
No, it's not
I was talking to
selfish,
Kelly afterwards, Andy, and she was saying that she was getting upset as well, and it's just it just brings it all back really.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's
it does. Yeah, it was a bit of an emotional one there, but it was good and sort of good fun, and there was a lot of humour in it as well, weren't there? And the result come at the end, brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to watch Car SOS and just appreciate for what it is. A lot of it's all like the comedy stuff. It's all staged, like when they pour baked beans over fuzz and stuff, kind of thing. It's all staged, isn't it? It's like sort of slapstick humour. But if you just sit and you just watch it for that, it's the same with Top Gear, wasn't it? It was all staged, the days of Fox and whatever. But it's a bit like a panto. It's like a performance.
Yeah, they're just trying to break it up. Otherwise, it'd just be about the person who's looking at the car and watching them build it, and it becomes more like a live Haynes manual, doesn't it? If you're not careful, and you just sort of learn how to sort of rebuild something, and that's not kind of what the program's about, is it?
And I think
they show you what they do, but the car is about the history of the car and what it meant to the person that's having it done, and how it's affected that person. And they're just dropping something back to someone. People say, "Oh, we need to see more of the mechanics working on it," or "We need to see this," or "It's all staged." And it's a very few. I've looked at comments on it since and gone through hundreds of them, just flicking through it, and it's just positive. The majority of them, you get the very odd one, that comes in there. And I think, well, if you don't like the program, don't watch it, because not everybody likes every program that comes on, do they? No. It's not every program is everybody's cup of tea, like.
But if you think about it, it's a business, and so they've got a product which is Car SOS, and so to sell that product, it's got to appeal to an audience. If they kept restoring, I don't know, Vauxhall Novas every week, it becomes a very sort of why you'd want to do that anyway, Andy's beyond me. But if it was just Vauxhall Novas every week, it would have a very short lifespan. Or if it was Mondeos or Rovers, it would have a short lifespan.
Yeah,
and it would be for a very narrow audience. So I understand that they're trying to appeal to the people who love cars and the restoration of cars. They want to add some humour. They want presenters who people can relate to and have a laugh with. But it also it's done in a way where people who aren't necessarily madly into cars would probably watch it, sit and watch it. So my wife watches Bangers and Cash when I'm not watching it, and she's not a massive fan of cars, but she's got to like the format, the characters on there.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think that's probably where Top Gear's success was the same as well. You didn't have to be massively into cars because you just like.
You've got to relate to who's selling the program for the companies, isn't you? Really, for the presenters. If you don't relate to the presenters, then you're never going to like the program, no matter how good the format is. If you do not click with the presenters of anything,
absolutely,
and, to me, they've always come across really genuine just watching it, and to actually meet them and find it out, then you can really see what they're like. So for some people that do put negative comments on it, they've only watched it, and just because they personally don't like it, I don't think they're right to be kind of slagging people off for being this or being that, and they don't do enough of this, and they don't know the people.
I mean, what does it achieve? If you go on there and you say, "Oh, he doesn't deserve it," or "This program's crap," I'll tell you what, don't watch it then. There you go. No. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Go and watch Love Island or whatever you want to do. But that's crap. So if it's like anything, isn't it? Oh, I don't like that. Don't watch it. Next.
Well, somebody put a comment on there. One negative comment that Jackie saw and brought in there. She said, "Oh, I can't be done with SOS. It's just for people that have got money."
What?
Honestly, I mean, what is he watching the right program?
Yeah.
In all the years I've watched it, I've only ever seen one car. I think there was, which I would have thought, God, that was done for someone that I don't think they're not exactly short of a few bob or working class. He lived in a huge, great big place up in Scotland, and it was like rolling gardens, and it was a DB7 or a DB, one of the Aston Martins he'd done. Yeah. And I think, well, okay, you might be lucky and bought an Aston years ago or been inherited this there, but this chap was working away, and he works away a lot, and he hasn't had time to do this car, and they was doing this like this. I'm sure it's a DB7. I was DB6, DB7, and I'm like, wow, that is an unbelievable car to get on the program like this,
Yeah.
And if there was all kind of characters like him, I'm not saying he didn't deserve to have it done, but if everyone was like that, then I could see where the comment was coming from.
Yeah.
But look at the bloke in episode 1. I mean, he's absolute tragedy. That was what he went through the week before me. He hasn't got a lot of money.
No.
They show you. They always go to these people's houses, and they are ordinary houses, like my house. It's an ex-council house.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing. That's what it is. It's my home. I love it. I like living in it. And it's not a mansion. It's not a great big house with loads of money. So where this bloke comment was coming from, I do not know, mate. Oh, no.
Lack of education, isn't it? It's a lack of understanding. And if he'd actually watched the episode and actually heard about your circumstances, I mean, for God's sake, you couldn't even work. So you hadn't got any money coming in, and then you had to start up your business from scratch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where those comments come from is just utterly ridiculous.
Beyond,
and it's just not worth giving those sort of people time of day.
No, I don't waste any time. I just look at it and just skip past all them.
Yeah. And I think regardless of whether you're extremely wealthy or not, I think it's sort of a recognition of what you've been through and saying, look, you've been through an awfully crap time. We want to do a little something to help you. And I mean, from a restoration point of view, I imagine it's a major. They make a major loss on what they spend towards the value of the car, but then the money they make from the production of the program kind of covers for that, doesn't it? So I imagine it's probably cost tens of thousands to restore your car. But they've got the production, they've got the they've made money that way, and there's the promotional stuff and all that.
I think once they've finished viewing all the episodes, or they've aired all the episodes, and it comes up to the end, that's when they start selling them off to the other companies and into TV channels, and lots of people can go and buy that, and they just get royalties on them
exactly
every time they play. So it's like a long-term thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they get done
But it was thoroughly
I
deserved,
think that's absolutely fabulous. Absolutely wicked day. For the first couple of weeks after, I don't think I come back down to earth for really 2 weeks. I was just on a high all the time. I thought, this is really hard to go back and concentrate on my job now, you know. I want to go and do something, go do something with the car. What should I do? I don't know. There's nothing to do. I think I might just have a cup of tea and sit in it. In the garage.
Yeah. But you took it out for a drive at the weekend.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was just saying, you took it out for a drive at the weekend, didn't you? Was it the first time?
Yeah, I took it out from there because Elliot. One of the things what Elliot did, he messaged me just to say, "This is right." Well, since it's been on, he just said, he said, "Oh, you clocked a few miles up in that, you know," and some other things he was chatting about, and then he jacked his message back and said, "Oh no," he said he won't take it out of the garage yet. It's on a trickle charger. It's left in the garage on the cover, and he said he doesn't want to take it out until the program's been aired, just in case people see it and too many people start seeing it before. And he said, that's lovely, that's really good, really thoughtful, you know, for the program, not to actually get it out there. And then of course it had gone out then, so I said, well, it's not a fantastic day, but I'm not waiting for the best day. I just want to go and drive it. So Sunday it was out. I had a good ride around in it, loved it. Yeah.
And it's all running okay, and there's no
it's running great. Yeah, running really good.
Have you bought a mattress for it yet?
I've just got to keep it. You see, it's done. I think it had, when I took it out, sort of like doing the filming in bits to make the program afterwards and that. And I suppose the little test drives it's had. When I first took it out on Sunday, it had actually done 29 miles since the rebuild of the engine. So I think it's done about 50 now. So. And they said it's basically a new engine, really. All the head and the top's all new. The head and cam carrier and everything else is new on it. It's only the bottom, all new pistons and islands in it. So it's a complete rebuilt engine. So he said that combined with the rest of the car, he said the car hasn't even done 50 miles yet. So he said treat it like a new one and run it in nicely. You know.
Plenty of oil changes, Darren.
Sorry?
Plenty of oil changes.
Oh, definitely with them, yeah. You have to do them when they first. That's what let them down when they first made them. You've either got to do it every, I think it was 3,000 miles.
Yeah. On
them. If you don't do that, then do it. You've got to do it within so many months anyway. Just regardless, you've got to do it.
Why is that, then, chaps? Why regular oil changes?
It's because when they made it, the engine was originally a Triumph engine from the Triumph 2000 and the 2.5. But I think it was a 5-pot engine. I don't think it was a straight 6. So then when they used that engine, they basically, the block is the same. They just changed the head. So they revised all the head in there, and it was launched to go into production. And when it was going in, so story has it that the engineers turned around and said, it isn't, we need to extend it at the front a bit more from where the cam is, because it's like a sealed bearing that's in it, and we need to alter it so we can get more oil there, so it isn't sealed, basically. And they wanted to make some changes at the last minute. They said no, apparently management said no, it isn't time, it's all ready for the launch, it's going into the big motor show and all that, it's got to go. So they had to leave it like that. And the pickup, the oil pickup to fetch that to the top of to the engine is about the size of a cigarette. It's a little filter that sucks it up. So you can get an after a sort of a kit what they made so many years after, it actually goes onto the side of the engine. So when you turn the ignition on, this little pump will kick in, pour the oil up a few seconds just before the actual engine fires over. So as soon as that ignition is turned on, the pump's on before you get to the sort of third click of the ignition, and the engine fires.
So you've got oil going to the head then. So like
straight away. And what it does, when they was having the problems with them in the 80s and early 90s, you could still get this, and it just basically went onto the side, so that you just come up through a pipe, and then it was basically just a little sort of slave pump on it, and it would just suck the oil up from the sump, as well as the filter doing it how it's supposed to from the inside. It just used to suck this up, and it went through a little jet, and it sprayed a little bit of oil over the cam.
Yeah.
And it's just, so then the oil was there before it actually started. So every time you do it, when I used to start it up before, I always used to turn the ignition and leave it just for 2 or 3 seconds and give it a chance to do it. And then if you did that, it's fine. But if you just get there and bump, turn the key straight away, your engine's turning. If you haven't used it for a little while, the cam's dry before it's even had time to do anything. And plus the oils weren't good, was they? Engine oils weren't as good. You never used to get like oil that would cling on to parts and stay there. It just used to all run back down to the sump. So you left the car for a couple of weeks in the 80s, and the oils weren't like these, the oils what they've got now, which could actually grip on and stay there. So I think they've improved the oils, engine oils, haven't they, over the years, hell of a lot.
Well, see, on my Nova, I've got 3 switches where one's a fuel, one's ignition, and the other one's a fan. So basically, I turn over and I look at the oil pressure gauge and I make sure it's high enough, because they suffer from the cams tapping. I don't know whether you experienced it on you in your Vauxhall Aid on an XC. The cams tap.
Yes.
So because I do that, it gets oil up to the top. I could do it until the battery runs out, but I just wait until the oil pressure's about 40 and then I start it up then. But like if you do it on a cold day, you know, you're doing it for ages. Okay, so why do you do that? I said, because I'm getting the oil pressure up, because there'll be no oil at the top. It all runs down. But I mean, I used Miller's running in oil when I refurbed my engine. 20 hours I did with it, just sitting in the garage, just ticking over.
Wow.
You know, just the pistons are that tight in there. Yeah, everything's just so tight, and like when you drain it out, you can see, you know, bits of where little bits of metal have come off. Right. So I did 2 sets of them, and then I put Miller's normal Miller's engine oil in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did with mine anyway. But yeah, new engine oil, it clings on to the cams, doesn't it? It clings on to the
right. Yeah, it does. Where the older stuff, you know, there's so many variants in there as well of engine oil you can get now.
Yes,
but like specifically just for the sort of new engines or engines that have been the older engines. And I think back then, I always remember like my dad used to go out and there was didn't seem a massive choice of different engine oils to get.
No.
Not like there is now. God, you walk into in there now and you think, oh my days. If you haven't done your homework before you went out there, you would not.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know what to put in it, would you?
No, because there's so many, and then you've got the right sort of, you have to get the right sort of velocity on them, I suppose. But there's different companies, and sometimes you'll go in somewhere, and you might have 4 or 5 companies making under all their own, obviously their own labels, and it's basically the same stuff, but they're all slightly different when you read them. And it's it's which one and what you have to go for. So no, I am going to give it plenty of oil changes. So it's only done 50 miles, but it won't do that many. Then it'll be in for an oil change again. But they have said once you get up to 500, you've done say 500 miles in it, and then all round about there, just fetch it back, and we'll, if you want to fetch it to us, or we can get you a garage close to that we recommend, just to check everything, make sure all the nuts and bolts are all okay and nothing's moved and everything's going right. So I might just run it back up for them to have a look at it again. And if you fetch it and we just give it a quick once over for you, get it up on the ramps, check it all over. But where you say about the engine was tight, I can feel that in the car just driving it. As daft as it seemed, when I took it out, and it's like you could just feel it with everything on the car. I thought, because normally you get, all my cars have all been older cars, and everything's seems to have plenty of give and air, and it seems almost like it's a bit noisier at the moment when you're getting it going up the gearbox, different exhaust, that type of thing. But I think once it really gets worn in again, and running properly, I think it'll just really start brightening down. When you go up there like sort of 50, you're just going down the dual carriageway, then it was great. When you take the foot off, and it's not on so much load, it's really quiet. But fantastic to drive, and you can really hear the engine, especially the exhaust. You've got the exhaust is a stainless exhaust, and I think it's just a tiny little bit bigger than the other one. So it's got a really nice sound to it, really, for a 2.6. Yeah, nice.
Oh,
So,
mate. Any?
I think what I might do, if we can, when I'm away Thursday for a while, when I come back, we'll sort some out, Ed. I'll come pick you up and we'll have a ride over to yours, Andrew, and I'll come and have a brew with you, mate.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Always nip out for a bit of a spin in it while we're over your way.
Yeah.
Go for a drink somewhere, cup of tea, whatever you like, just a bit of a run round, or we can go for a run round while Kelly's doing something to eat.
Yeah.
I'll tell her that. She probably says cheeky sort, go and bloody buy a sandwich.
No, that'd be nice, Darren. It'd be lovely to actually go out in the car. I mean, we've got a great picture of the three of us. On the day we watched the programme, so I'll put that on Instagram. It'd be lovely just to go out in it. And it was nice for me to watch the programme and understand a bit of history about the car, and obviously it was something you went to shows with your son, and to get it back on the road and just to experience what it's like, because I know that they said in the programme how lovely and smooth it was to drive. And so it'd be nice to actually experience that. So sign me up for that. I'm definitely up for that.
Great stuff, mate.
I managed to get my mum and dad to watch it the day.
Oh, did you?
After, and they watched it on their own. Yeah, and they said it's very emotional but really good. The program was really.
You enjoyed it, and great.
Yeah, mum was like very, very emotional, but it was good. They loved it. Dad was like, "Oh my god, it was rotten." That's what my dad said.
That's what my dad kept on saying. I sat next to my dad down here, didn't I? And he went, "I can't believe how rotten that was on the back." A couple of minutes later, I can't believe how rotten that car was. Well, did you not see anything other than the rot? There was a lot of good things in it as well, Dad.
Well, just Dad to tell you as it is.
They do. Straight
Oh, great. Fabulous day, mate. And I was made up when I saw you pair out there as well. So I didn't know, it's just, I got over the initial shock of like seeing my number plate there again, and I suddenly was aware that there was people all standing behind the car as well, coming up the road. So that was a fantastic surprise seeing you two there.
Brilliant, mate. We really enjoyed it. We're just glad we were invited to be part of it as well. It was really nice of Jackie to think.
Oh yeah, you made it for me, eh? If you did being there,
Oh, top man.
Made up.
Keep the praise coming. I like it. Does
anybody know what they're going to do this Thursday on Car SOS?
I don't. Do you know, Andy?
I don't know either.
Oh, blooming hell, what's it called now? Damn, I did know. It's not the... No, it isn't the... No, it's not the Frontier, is it? I'm trying to think what it is now.
SUV.
I'm sure it's an SUV thing. Right, come on, IT man, have a quick look. I know you're sitting in there. You look like the bloke out of the James Bond film with all your monitors around you.
That's it.
What was his name? What was his name in the last James Bond film? He used to sit there, he's got all these screens buzzing around him, he's flicking around on his little keypad.
I'll be the guy with the third nipple, whatever he was. It's a grand.
He wasn't
Jeep
an IT,
Cherokee.
he never had a computer, mate.
Right, your IT man has found out that it's a Jeep Cherokee.
That's it.
Not far off.
I knew it was a Jeep. I knew it was a GP type of thing.
Then it's going to be then the next one will be a Porsche 911. Then it'll be a Rise RMF. Then it'll be a Renault Alpine GTA. Oh, they're quite cool looking cars.
Oh, I like the shape of them.
Yeah, very ahead of its time kind of thing. But yes, that's it. So it'll be a Grand Jeep Cherokee. Do you know what I like about? Do you know what I like about this? I mean, we'll have to bring this to a close shortly, but I like the fact that a lot of these are sort of everyday kind of cars. I mean, you've got like episode 1 was a Ford Mondeo.
Yeah,
you can get them 10 to a penny, and you can pick one up for $1,000. And the amount
are you just describing the Mondeos now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, straight. Yes.
This is deserved, isn't it? Because the amount of stick I give you about your Nova, it's only fair that I get it back. But we all know the Mondeo is the better car. Anyway, but yeah.
Right, moving on from that one.
I mean, I do love the touring car Mondeo. That's a nice bit of kit, that is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. One of these.
Nearly as nice as the SD1.
Oh,
Yeah.
and they did
Very
touring car
similar
the
colour scheme they chose, didn't they?
Yeah.
You could think they come from the same. They would come from the same bloody stable, really, wouldn't you? When you look at the colour scheming on the cars.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is the summary on Radio Times. Okay, so this is episode 2, series 11. Landscape gardener Darren's 1986 Rover SD1, once his pride and joy, but when tragedy struck, it ended up rotting away in a dirty lockup. Dirty. You are just filth, Darren. You are just dirty. You don't even clean your garage. It's shame on you.
You like saying that word, don't you? Dirty. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, dirty lockup. There you go. Right. Before
it wasn't dirty when I first had it. I swear to that, but I never opened the door again for 2 years, so it kind of it sort of went a little bit downhill.
It did a bit. But I'm going to have to bring it to a close, gents, because we could probably talk about this. We could probably talk about this for ages, but no, I'm finally glad that we were able to talk about it and get it out there, and we can get some pictures and we can share it all with the audience and stuff. Yeah. It's thoroughly deserved, mate. It was a great.
Thank you very much.
Day, and couldn't have happened.
Cheers for that.
Well, I was going to say it couldn't have happened to a nicer person, but I'm sure there are nicer people out there. But you know, it was.
Oh, just a quick one.
Okay.
I might not be. I will try next week.
Okay.
To get on to the podcast and the week after, but I might not. Depends what's happening and where we are. Because I'm going on holiday on Thursday, early hours Thursday morning.
Oh, Judith Chalmers is off again. Here we go.
Judith Chalmers is off, yeah.
More breaks than A&E.
Wish you were here.
Yeah.
You take the canoe with you.
I'm away for 10 days.
Yeah, you taking the canoe, Darren?
Well, what I was going to do, I'm not taking it this time because we're going so far. Yeah. But I thought I'd just do a bit of snorkeling.
Snorkeling? Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just going to buy some of those cheap flippers while I'm out there and all.
Are you going to go in the Rover and put a mattress in and just sleep in that?
No, mate, because I'll have to go on like lots of boats as well. I have to drive all the way through Europe and to get all the way down there and then go across on the ferry. So I thought I wouldn't bother with that one, mate. I'm going to run it in a bit first, maybe another year.
Yeah. It'll probably overheat anyway, won't it? So, there you go.
Right, time for any conversation. Podcasting is now closed.
Right, gents. As always, it's been a pleasure. If you've managed to endure those 57 minutes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and send us a message or anything like that. And tune in next time for a bit more waffle. All the best, gentlemen. Have a pleasant evening.
See you later.
And we'll speak again very soon.
Yes, and super.
Take care now.
Take care, both.
Ta-da.
Bye.
Bye-bye.